So an update video on this here truck. As you can see, it's in beautiful shape. Oh, there's something missing. This is the Swiss cheese version because the bed, it didn't have much holding it on because all the rails were rotted off, which is, I think, the reason why they parked it, besides, you know, maybe the fact that they couldn't trailer anything with it. But for the most part, it's in decent shape now that it's got a brand new fuel tank in it, and it needs a pinion seal. And the exhaust isn't falling off it anymore. We fixed that, and we had it at the shop on the lift. And man, these Yahoos, they're crazy. Yahoos. So that's about it for this thing. Got some pieces of steel for it to fix all this. So that's its next move, is it's getting that all fixed up. The frame has obviously been cleaned off a fair amount, so some oil undercoating and stuff, and this thing will be looking almost new, you know, except for a little bit of rust on it, but it could be worse. The bed, there's the bed liner. The bed itself needs to be fixed up, of course, as usual. And this is the other project. This thing, it must be a Dodge. Those look like Dodge rims. Oh yeah. So this is his bed off of it, which this truck went to my brother-in-law, actually. You know, the bed's in rough shape, but he's actually got a plan for using 2x4s to fix up the bed, just so he can use it for the time being until he finds a really nice Californian one. So he bought himself some lumber the other night, and then the truck wouldn't start because he ran his batteries down somehow. I think the starter is just a little bit weak, but shine some light on this place. Oh, beautiful cars around here, you know. And this is the next project. I've already done a fair amount of work to it. The owner said it needed a rear end. It ended up actually being the e-brake shoes jammed in the inside of the rear rotors, because it's got little e-brake shoes in the rear rotors. So this will be the next one. Maybe I'll make a separate video for this whole series of repairs on this thing. I've recorded a few things here and there. But I put some new sneakers on it, and I did some rust repair, you know, with some fender flares. And it's got the tried and true Cummins 24 valve, which had its issues. I've already made one video on some issues. It's got a little bit of body damage, but nothing big. But yeah, the Chris truck is alive and well. That's its update. It's going to be back rocking and rolling soon. You know, he's got it on the road, so he wants to be driving it as much as possible. He's still kind of fixing up his steering column and everything. He put a new switch in it and did a few things like that. But for the most part, he's been working away at it, you know, little by little. That's what you should call this project, because it takes a little bit every time he brings it in the shop, but a lot of money, because it's an old truck, and it just needs some TLC, you know. But you know, this thing came with a new set of sneakers on it and a lot of new other parts that came with it, so he really can't complain. You know, I gave him a wholesale reasonable price on it. So once I fix all this up with him, he'll be looking right as rain. He wasn't really planning on towing anything, but I told him that we'd probably integrate the tow hitch into the repair. That way, you know, it would be perfect. So, not a big deal, you know. It came with a brand new Diamond Eye exhaust on it and stuff like that. It just needed to be just little things, just needed little tweaks here and there. And he actually had the last thing we did to it before he took the bed off was he actually had a his optical sensor was leaking. The O-ring around the plug on it was leaking. And he actually, I pulled it apart, an old one, and he measured it, and he got it from, I think, when McMaster car or something like that online. He actually found all that stuff. So, you know, for him, I mean, he pretty much, he's always taken the finding the cheaper way out of it, but he's putting the time in to get the parts. So I mean, I helped him swap that out, and oddly enough, it was funny. He had if you looked at some of the other videos we posted, he had an EGR upper intake on it, and the fact that he had the EGR upper intake didn't matter much, because when I pulled the upper intake with him to see about getting the another siren, to see about getting the optical sensor changed out. Somebody must have cut their arm off over there. So to see about getting the optical sensor changed out, he pulled the upper intake, and I looked in and I went, hey, that thing's got a non-EGR lower intake. So the EGR valve was hooked up, which I have the line plugged off now. But the EGR valve was plugged, you know, was on the upper intake, but it wasn't doing anything because it wasn't attached to a EGR lower manifold. So luckily, I had this spare one from some of the upper intake mods that I've done to other trucks. I had this spare one laying around, so I just gave it to him. It was from another engine swap project that him and I actually did on a 2500 version of this exact same truck, but a long bed. And I think his inspiration is my finished product. My finished product is looking pretty nice, and I actually just washed it today, and hopefully I didn't scratch it at all. I tried to do that foam gun thing to it before I really washed it a lot, but you know, I scrubbed the little tip with some Brillo pad with some soap on it and wiped it all down. I got to get some kind of one of them chamois that you can, you know, wipe the water off a car without scratching it or whatever, because that's my downfall, is the shop here. It's got some hard water or whatever you want to call it. So, but I'll tell you what, the wool wax on the frames, it looks pretty nice. It's got that black tint to it, and I'm going to tell you, I like it. I really do. I can't say anything bad about it. I think it's staying on. Even after washing it, it stayed on. I haven't tried power washing it off because I don't want it to come off, because it's still into February here. So hopefully you guys like this, all this stuff. You know, this thing's been a project. This was a 2 or 3 year project. I think October of 2017 I put this thing in my shop here, and hadn't got it finished up for that long. So and then there's my little 2-door Tahoe for plowing around small areas. And so yeah, that's about it. This will be a project at some point. Let me know what you want to do to this. Maybe we'll stick a 6.5 in the old Trans Am for my friend that helped me with my body work. But you know, part auto mechanic, part restoration technician, I guess. But maybe one day we'll get all these projects finished. But by then we'll probably have 6 more, because that's usually how it goes. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you want to do with all the other you know, projects. I've been trying to clean out my shop here since the last repair, reconstruction, resurrection, restoration, whatever. And my office was clean the other day, and then we moved a bunch of stuff in here to clean out stuff and put shelving up, and I moved a shelf from inside the shop to here just to make more room. And I've been looking at a couple of lifts. I'm thinking about a scissor lift and a 2-post lift and having the floor repaired or whatever. But that all takes money, and I don't have a lot of it because I'm always buying projects and selling projects and doing this and doing that. So anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know more what you want to see in the future, and I'll try to get it to you as quick as I possibly can. I just happen to be in a good mood today because of how nice it was out. It's about 60 degrees around here in Massachusetts, and you know, it's a pretty good day. So hopefully Christoper's truck will be the next project. My camera only records 30 minutes at a time, so every time I set it up and I try to do some work, I end up getting a phone call and walking away from it and then forgetting about it. So I've got a bunch of half-recorded footage of some stuff, so maybe I'll just post those videos and not even edit them. Alright guys, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Criticisms, no, less criticism, more creative construction of my videos. So hopefully this thing gets finished soon, because I think he wants to be driving it instead of his little Grand Am. Alright guys, talk to you later. Good night.